Assalamualaikum everyone. So, today I will be teaching all of you about present continuous tense. So, first of all, if you want to learn about tense, we need to get to know about the formula first. So, the formula consists of subject, auxiliary verb, and present participle. So, we all know what subject is, right? He, she, and all the nouns that exist, right? He, she, they, the pen, the whiteboard, teacher, the school, and whatnot. So that is the subject. So now let's move on to the auxiliary verb. So to recap, what is auxiliary verb? So auxiliary verbs are minor verbs that support the sentence's main verb to communicate complex grammar concepts, such as is, are, and am. So we will later find out how do we use the auxiliary verb. How do we use the right one? Next, moving on to the present participle. So, present participle is the form of verb ending in ing, which is used in forming continuous tenses. So basically what you gotta do is you take a verb in its base form. Do you know what is verb in its base form? We will find out later. So, the verb in its base form, we add ing at the back to make it a present participle. Do you understand? So there are a lot of verbs that is available, right? So I'm going to show you a few examples of verbs. So the first one is eat. So if we add ing at the back, it will become eating. And same goes with see, do, cut, and read. See, if we add ing at the back, it becomes seeing. Do becomes doing. Cut becomes cutting, and read becomes reading. So the formula is very simple. We just put ing at the back. It's pretty straightforward. There are some exceptions, which is like words that ends with t. Some of them we need to add another t to it, from cut to cutting. If you can see, there are two t's in cutting, but one t in cut. So we have learned about subjects. We have learned about auxiliary verb, and we have learned about present participle. And all those makes up present continuous tense. So now we need to know what is present continuous tense. So the present continuous tense is a way to convey any action or condition that is happening right now, frequently, and may be ongoing. So here are some of the examples. So as we all know, it consists of subject, auxiliary verb, and present participle. So for the first sentence, the subject is they, and the auxiliary verb is are, and present participle is eating. Then we can continue it until we make a fully functioning sentence. So, do you guys know why do we use are in our auxiliary verb? Yes, it is because the subject is they, which is plural. It shows more than one. Okay, so for the next example, the subject is he, the auxiliary verb is, and the present participle is thinking, and the rest of the sentence is about his future. So, because of the subject is he is singular. So we use is as the auxiliary verb because is used with a singular subject. And the next one is I am. Why do we use am? Because it is accustomed specifically for the subject I, which is showing myself. So I am doing my homework now. And the next one is my mom is cutting onions in the kitchen. So um, my mom is singular, right? So why do we use is because my mom is singular, and it is followed by cutting and followed by onions in the kitchen. And the last one is my friends. My friends, because it is plural, we use are. And the present participle is reading. And my friend is reading their favorite novels. So, because we use are because my friends are plural. And do you notice that all the present participle that we use has ing at the back? So we don't use the base verb. We use the verb that is modified into a present participle by adding ing at the back. So if you have recalled, right, in the previous classes we have learned about simple present tense. So what is the difference between simple present tense versus present continuous tense? Because it sounds kind of the same, right? And it is to show present tense, right? It is to show something that is happening at the present moment, right? So how do we differentiate both of them? So for simple present tense, we use it when things are always true. And present continuous tense, we use them when the things that are happening right now is happening. Alright, so the first example for simple present tense, water boils at 100 degrees. So you know that water boils at 100 degrees, right? It is the truth, right? So when we want to speak the truth, we use a simple present tense. But if we want to s- speak about things that is happening right now, so when things is happening right now, we use present continuous tense. The water is boiling now. So you can put in the pasta. So because the action is happening now, the water is boiling now, then we use present continuous tense. Then the next example, I study in IIUM Gombak. So it is a fact, right? It is a fact. That is always true. Not always true, but for a long period of time it is true. I study in IIM Gombak. So because it is the truth, we use simple present tense. But if if you want to tell people about right now that I'm studying in IIM Gombak right now, then we use present continuous tense. I am currently studying in IIM Gombak. So that means that we use the present continuous tense to show that I am studying at in IIM Gombak now. So for simple present tense, we use it to describe permanent situations. And for present continuous tense, we use it to describe temporary situations and situations that are slowly changing. So for the simple present tense, permanent situation. So Julie lives in London, right? So that shows that Julie is permanently living in London. She is a permanent resident in London. So, what about temporary situations? So, we use present continuous tense. Julie is living in Paris for a few months. So, why we say Paris? Because Julie lives in London, right? So when Julie lives in London, when Julie lives when Julie is living in Paris for a few months, that indicates that she is living in Paris just for a moment, just temporarily. And then we used to describe situations that are slowly changing, right? So, for example, I am getting better and better at speaking English. I am getting. So, that means present continuous tense is used when we describe situations that is progressively changing slowly. Okay? So, for simple present tense, another difference that we can see is that when we use simple present tense, it is when we describe habits or things that we do regularly. But for present continuous tense, we use it to describe temporary or new habits. So, for example, for simple present tense, I say, I drink coffee every morning. So, I drink coffee every morning shows that I am a regular drinker of coffee. So, I drink coffee regularly. I drink it all the time. So when I say that, it shows that I drink coffee regularly. Okay, and then for present continuous tense. So for the example, I'm drinking too much coffee these days because I'm so busy at work. So first of all, do you notice that the word I'm, do you know what is I'm referring to? What is the actual word that is used in I'm? The long word. So I'm stands for I am. So if you recall back, I am, I is the subject and am is the auxiliary verb. So drinking is the past participle. So back to the example, I'm drinking too much coffee these days. These days because I'm so busy at work. So basically, I'm saying that these days indicates that it is a new habit that I do, like drinking too much coffee. Like drinking too much coffee is the habit that I newly acquire. And then the next one is annoying habits, and we use it usually with always. For example, my roommate is always shouting in the middle of the night. So shouting, shouting is the present participle, right? So um, is the auxiliary verb, but always it comes after the auxiliary verb. Okay, so it indicates that the always indicates that the action, the annoying action, always occurs. Okay, so for the last one, simple present tense, we use it to describe future events which are part of a timetable. So it's like describing something that is scheduled. Next is present continuous tense, is to describe definite future plans, which is like which shows that it is definitely going to happen. Alright. So for example, for simple present tense, my plane leaves at 8 tonight. So as you all know, right, logically, flights they always have schedule, right? The the flight details, the time when the plane departs, right? So when we know that uh, the described situation is part of a schedule or a timetable, we use simple present tense to describe it. My plane leaves at 8 tonight. The next example is I drive to work every day. Work every day indicates that I have a timetable going on in my life, which is I'm going to work every day. So I drive to work every day indicates that I have a routine that I go to work every day. So which means it is suitable for us to use simple present tense to describe it. I drive to work every day. And then for the next part, present continuous tense. For the example, I'm meeting John after class today. So when we hear this sentence, right, we know that it is definitely going to happen. Definitely. So if that's the case, then we use present continuous tense because it is definitely going to happen. Because I'm definitely meeting John after class today. So that's why we use present continuous tense. For the next example, for the last one, they are joining our party tonight. So basically, so it is confirmed, it is definite that they are joining our party tonight. Means that we expect the situation to happen. So that's why we use present continuous tense because the plans, the future plans is definite. It is definitely going to happen in our minds. We think that the event is definitely going to happen. So that's all for the class today. Thank you for listening and till we meet again next week. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.